3, 2, 1. Gotta blast. Really good.
I think it's honestly hilarious that we make the guest also do it.
Well, they need to be warmed up. You just wing it.
Warm up with a 5-second intro.
Like, Jacob and I are professionals now. You know, these guests are brand new to this.
Yeah.
So, hello and welcome to Outside the Search Bar, the podcast where we try to answer questions without using Google. I'm Emily Schubach, and I'm going to turn it over to my brother and co-host, Jacob.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jacob. So each week, Emily and I are going to come prepared with questions that we don't know the answer to. We each have a note on our phones that is filling up with an astounding number of questions, which is honestly a testament to how unqualified we are to host this show and how little we actually know. Of course, we would be remiss to not take listener questions. So if you have a tough question you'd like us to answer on the podcast, send us an email to searchbarpodcast@gmail.com or drop a comment on our social profiles at searchbarpodcast.
Now that that's over, we are going to be introducing our first ever guest
Ooh.
with our own sister, Lizzie Schubach. We know her because we have the same parents.
It's a really big get, guys. It's really big.
Really big.
She's so busy.
Hello.
She's got a busy schedule. Welcome, Lizzie.
Hello, I am Lizzie. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm happy to be here. I'm here because we have the same parents and also because my birthday is in 2 days and I would like a nice present.
Fair.
That's fair. That's also fair. So Lizzie, one thing that we always ask people is, what's something that you searched for recently, and did you find a good answer?
So I recently searched for how to make a pie chart with Google Sheets because even though on my resume it says that I am proficient in Excel, I don't quite know that one.
Yes, for any employers that are listening, Lizzie is very talented.
Very proficient at Googling.
Proficient at Googling is honestly a skill that you should have, because I've worked in many places where people just don't understand the importance of just Google it before you ask me.
Very true.
And honestly, that's a valid thing to search because I feel like Microsoft Excel is one thing and then Google Sheets just throws everything to the wind and it's completely different.
Yeah, Google Sheets is just like, do whatever.
So did you find out how to make a pie chart?
Kind of, but not like how I wanted to. I had to like make new columns because it didn't like that the columns I wanted the pie chart to be separated by like the column in between them. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, I figured it out.
When I was in school, they were always like, don't make pie charts. Those aren't good.
Honestly, pie charts aren't good. I agree with that, but
I think they're like pretty fun to look at.
I was like looking at my budget to see like where's my money going. So I feel like it makes sense for like that type of data to see like what am I spending the most on.
I do a stacked column chart. I don't know.
I spend money and hope that I don't run out.
Really good.
A really good tactic that I've built for myself there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're still alive. So.
I'm still here. I'm still kicking, doing good. Emily, did you want to take us into our first segment? What's trending?
Ooh, our first segment each week is to go over the latest Google search trends from this past week. So number one, as of today, are the Puppy Bowl 2022, as well as Super Bowl food.
Super Bowl food was number 5. Puppy Bowl was number 1. It's of course.
I agree with that ranking, honestly. Good job, world.
It's still early in the day. I'm sure Super Bowl will eventually take over Puppy Bowl, but obviously the Puppy Bowl is very, very important. As dog owners, what do you think that means for us?
I don't know what that means.
What does it mean?
As a society. I think we got our priorities straight. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever actually watched the Puppy Bowl, which is kind of sad because it seems like right on brand for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it either.
I used to work at Hulu, of course, but one time Discovery, I think, is the one who puts on the Puppy Bowl. They invited our team to go to the set where the Puppy Bowl was shot, and I didn't get to go.
Is that
Was
why
it
you
just,
don't work there anymore?
So I don't work there anymore. You
Was
heard
it
here
just the
first.
set? Or like it was like you would watch it live?
It was like the set where they like filmed it. They pre-record it. So like they know going in what's going to happen. So I'm assuming that you probably can't put bets on the puppy bowl since it's pre-recorded. But like they got to meet they met all of the puppies. They met the referees. I think they were called referees. And if they weren't, they should have been.
Honestly, though. Are these puppies from like a local shelter that are like up for adoption? Where do these dogs come from?
I think they're local shelter dogs. I don't know for sure because I didn't really read the Google search trend, but
I almost just said that I should like put Stubbs in the puppy bowl, but that kind of means that I'm putting him up for adoption, and I'm not going to do that to him.
Well, if you adopted him.
Oh, it's not like he's currently up for adoption.
Right, but like what if you put him up for adoption and then like you adopted him?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, a contingency plan.
Like, I'm gonna put you up for adoption, but I'm gonna adopt you right back.
I promise. Pinky swear.
Who do you think would win? Mr. Stubbs, Emily's dog, or Pippa, Lizzie's dog?
Pippa. She's kind of a bully. Yeah.
No,
she has more energy.
She's athletic.
We're gonna have to share a picture of each of these dogs.
Yes.
You can decide which one's athletic.
We took her for a walk yesterday, and like she was doing this trick where she was like jumping over a little like wooden fence. So basically, she's an agility dog.
Wow. Do you think she'll make like the semifinals, the Olympics, whatever dogs do?
Maybe like next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to point out that Stubbs was trained as a hunting dog, which just seems a little sportier than like jumping over something. And he, on our walk last week, found a whole coconut. So pretty good. Yeah, we were walking through the woods and there was just a coconut in the woods. I still don't know.
I thought that he was up for adoption because he wasn't a good hunting dog. They said he was too lazy. So I just feel like.
Okay, but he found a coconut. So like, how does it get any better than that?
I mean,
okay, but have you ever seen like a beagle race? Like I've seen corgi races. So she's just bred for this. Everything in her DNA says that she's an athlete.
She's a stone cold killer athlete.
I think we're just going to have to give it a try.
We'll have to give it a try. Next time we're all together, I'll set up the, what do you call them? Goalposts. And we'll see which dog does something with them. The next search trend was Super Bowl food. Are you guys doing anything for the Super Bowl? Doing anything exciting? Making any food?
I am making stuffed jalapeno peppers. Very excited about that. My boyfriend is making ribeyes and scallops. So relying on that, honestly, I know. I haven't had scallops in a long time, but I'm very excited.
I mean, you told me that he was doing that earlier before we started recording, but I thought you meant scalloped potatoes. And I was like, that's terrible.
I'd probably dump him, honestly, if he made me scalloped potatoes.
Interesting.
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
Should we put a code word in for him?
Probably. The code word is scalloped potatoes.
We put in a code word for people that we want to listen, and if they know the code word, then we know that they listened. Is what we
haven't come up with a prize and or a punishment. but
we'll see if Pamela remembers last week's word of bananas.
I'm glad you remembered because I honestly forgot what it actually was. So.
Honestly, vibes. I got invited to a marketing Twitter like meetup for the Super Bowl. And I guess we're all just going to watch like the commercials together. And it's like a marketing networking Super Bowl party, which is kind of cool and kind of fun.
Is it in person or virtual?
It's in person.
Okay.
It's like in the Hollywood Hills, but like in the Studio City side. It has a nice view. I looked it up on Zillow.
Oh, nice. What about this is Twitter?
Because everybody met on Twitter. We just be tweeting at each other. Anyways, I am bringing Jello shots. I'm going to bring blue Jello shots for the Rams and orange Jello shots for the Bengals.
Wow, some real thought went into this.
It's really on brand, and I think if you search Super Bowl food, that would be one of the top recipes is Jello shots.
What alcohol are you using?
Vodka.
Nice. Lizzie, what are you doing for the Super Bowl?
Nothing. The Bills are not in it, so I don't care.
So what are you going to have for dinner today?
I need to go to the store, so I don't know yet.
Really good.
Honestly, vibes.
You can honestly search it and then figure out what you should eat for dinner.
I can follow the trend.
Love that. So now it's time for the bread and butter of this podcast, the question and answer, where we all present a question that our trio must solve together. Emily, would you like to offer a question?
Yes. So my question is, do we need the moon? I don't actually remember adding this to my notes app. I just woke up one morning, opened up my phone, and it was like preloaded to my notes app. And I saw that I edited it at 2:16 in the morning, and it just said, do we need the moon? So I'm just kind of assuming that the moon was shining through my window and it woke me up, and I was a little annoyed with it. And I'm like, is this absolutely necessary to us?
Interesting thought process. What is your initial thought of like, do we need the moon?
Yeah, probably.
Why do you think that though?
Like tides and
no, we know tides, yeah, because of gravity.
And like atmosphere, like solar winds, that's the sun. I feel like it does something with like the atmosphere and that kind of stuff, like the northern lights. My answers are always just like throwing phrases out there and hoping something sticks.
You're saying that the moon controls the northern lights is your hypothesis. And that's why we need it.
I feel like it does something with like the atmosphere and maybe like magnetic fields and like that kind of stuff. Definitely tides. That one I'm confident on.
I feel like the moon was created when the earth was still like hot and it was just like liquid. Hypothesis. This is a hypothesis. And a meteor, I thought it was like a meteor hit the earth while like the core was still like a little gelatinous, and a circle of it came out of the thing and became the moon.
Okay, I just think it's really interesting that I asked if we need the moon, and you're just like, let me tell the origin story of the moon.
Well,
like, that didn't answer my question.
I'm just setting the stage of like the moon was part of the earth before the earth was earth. So the earth existed. The earth existed before the moon. So the moon needs us in order for it to exist.
What?
I mean, yeah, I would argue that I'm not an astronomer, but I would argue that the moon does need us
more than we need it.
Exist.
Why does the moon need us?
Because it circles around us.
Like the moon wasn't just flying around through space until it found a planet. It became a thing because there was a planet.
Okay. But the moon has wants and needs. Is that what
I think we've established that.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that was common knowledge.
I was gonna say that there are other planets that don't have moons, but none of the other planets are like habitable. But there
that we know of.
Like Jupiter has 4 moons, so it should be super habitable if the moon is actually doing something.
Are there really planets that don't have moons though?
I would assume that Venus and Mercury don't have moons.
I think Venus does.
I think they all have moons. I feel like that's like a qualification to be considered a planet is that you have to have like a moon.
Oh, like something orbiting you?
Does Pluto have a planet? It has a moon?
Or is that why? I think Pluto was like
too small
to the side because it was too small. They were like, size matters.
Let her know.
Okay, but so I think we can all agree that the moon controls the tides.
Mhm.
Do we need tides?
I feel like there would still be tides even if there wasn't a moon, because the water wouldn't just stay still.
Why
I mean,
would it
like,
be moving?
because like
'Cause-
inertia.
Yeah.
Because you in the ocean pushed it, and therefore there are tides.
Yeah. There would be motion in it because of other things.
No, but I feel like
moving
it's
around.
already going. Like if you like got rid of the source of what made it going, like it still would be going.
It would still be sloshing around even if there wasn't a moon.
I mean, yeah, but like if I have a glass of water and like slash it around and then I stop, eventually it settles.
But there's no way that you would like be able to settle the entire ocean.
Because there's also like weather and stuff. Like I feel like
Wind.
that also must
I don't know how wind
wash
works.
it around.
It's just all sloshing around up there. But I
That's a
do
good
think
question. How does wind work?
we don't know.
Tune in next week when we question how does wind work.
Literally everyone that I've asked, because that's like one of the example questions when I tell people about this podcast. I'm like, I don't know how wind works. Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows.
Like a difference in we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk
I have a
about it.
hypothesis.
But I think that the tides are important because they help like reset the beach.
Yeah, and also just like I feel like the
Mm.
animals need it.
A break.
No, like they need to understand, like, I don't know.
What do they need to understand? Like
They just need like a
No.
new home. Like
ecosystems.
Yeah, don't they like
Ecosystem.
use like the moon to travel or something?
Oh, yeah. Is it the
What do
moon?
you
Is it the moon or like the poles?
There's something about
isn't it like
how animals
echolocation?
know where to go.
Isn't it like
It's just like-
echolocation?
No, because that's what bats do, right?
Isn't that also what like dolphins do?
Yeah. There's something like inherent in animals that like they just kind of know where to go. And they think
Like monarch
maybe they might
butterflies. Like they know how to
Right.
migrate because of I think they know because of the poles.
I thought it was like the magnetic fields. And like poles. That's all related, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, tough question.
Well, because
Um,
like poles on a magnet, like there's a north end and a south end, and they go, so they must be related.
Actually, I did think of something that maybe the moon really helped humans with. Time.
Astrology.
Time. Because that's how they like were like, oh, we can make a calendar because the moon keeps doing the thing where it goes through its phases.
Oh,
So it probably helped
But I mean,
people
like-
start recording history because they're like, the moon is at full moon for the third time this month or whatever.
that's not how it works, but
But that's how it like they made the calendar probably based off of the moon, didn't they?
right.
But don't you think that they could do that with like the stars and the sun? Like, do you think that the moon is necessary for that equation to figure out time? Because like the stars go around.
Right.
I feel like the moon's easier to track because like
I think without the moon, we wouldn't have the concept of a month. Because
Do you
like
think,
what else
moon
doesn't
and month kind of sound the same. They do. Like, do you think that's why it is?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, okay, so do you think if we lost the moon, let's say just like hypothetically the moon goes away,
Mhm.
do you think we would stop telling time on the month timetable? Because it wouldn't be tied to anything anymore.
No, I think we would because like I think it's inherent in society now. But I think if we never had the moon, like it didn't exist, then we wouldn't have created months in the definition that months are right now.
Does the moon, like, does its phases go on the 365 calendar? Like, does it go an even number of times every year?
Probably not.
Because I feel like it goes through its cycles every 28 days.
Yeah, so it wouldn't because math.
So this entire hypothesis was wrong.
Okay, but also I feel like another reason for needing the moon is that like just like research, like there's like different stuff on the moon that like we can use.
Is there?
Why else would we send people to the moon?
I
To
could
say
not
that
tell
we
you.
did. Wasn't the whole point like we just wanted to do it before Russia because we could?
Yeah, but like they've gone more than one time. Like, why would
I
you
don't
go
think
more
they
than one time if
have.
you're
I
just
thought we
Yes,
only
they
walked on the
have.
moon once.
I think humans only walked on the moon once, and now they're going back
okay? Well,
I'm-
so why would they go back now?
because they didn't do it the first time.
No, they absolutely have been more than once.
Humans.
Yeah,
Like I agree that like we've sent stuff to the moon, probably. Sometimes.
Allegedly, according to NASA.
no, I feel like we've sent humans more than once,
I think we've
and they
only
like
sent
bring back
Buzz
like the
Aldrin or
rocks
whatever.
and stuff. No, I feel like we've sent more.
We're gonna have to Google that because I
feel
inherently
like-
disagree with you, Lizzie.
I don't think
I
we have
feel
a
like
clear answer at all.
I feel like I remember that there was a woman that was sent to the moon, and I know that the first time it was just like the two men.
No, I think
So like
that
to
Ride.
me,
Sally Ride went to the moon.
I don't know what her
She
name
did
was.
something. She was the first astronaut, female. I don't know what she did though.
Love that. for
There
her.
was definitely an astronaut woman speaker that came to U of R, so I didn't go.
Sally. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
remember. I didn't
Love
go. I didn't see her speak.
We have a lot to Google after this. One, do we actually need it? Two, how many times have we been to the moon? What did Sally Ride do?
Okay, I think we should just put in our hypotheses. My hypothesis is that we don't necessarily need the moon, but she does be helping us.
Okay, my hypothesis is we do need the moon for some reason that we're not aware of.
The moon.
I would argue that we do need the moon. Not because I understand why, but I think astronomers probably figured that out.
Okay, the moment of truth. Do we need the moon? Okay, solarsystem.nasa.gov is our source for today. It seems pretty reputable. Oh, human visitors 24.
Oh, so you're right, Lizzie.
Lizzie
You're
Told
right.
you.
We got the answer to one of them.
Okay, the moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet's wobble on its axis. Okay, leading to a relatively stable climate. It also causes tides, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. So time.
Time, rhythm. Love to see it.
The moon was likely formed after a Mars-sized body collided with Earth.
See?
We're so smart.
I was like, I heard that
Mars-sized
once.
body?
Apparently.
That's huge.
Wait, but did it send like magma and like, I don't know, the core fluid stuff into the air and it became a perfect circle? Not a perfect circle, but I'm assuming circular enough.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know. We do only ever see one side of the moon. We did not see the far side until a Soviet spacecraft flew past in 1959.
Oh, wow. So
The
do
moon
need
has
them.
no moons. Fact number 6.
Thank you, NASA, for that illuminating fact.
Incredible. What was our other question?
What did Sally Ride do?
Okay, this source is Wikipedia. Sally Ride's Wikipedia page. American astronaut and physicist. She passed away in 2012, so she was not the woman who came to your college. She was the first American woman in space. Follow-up question. Did Sally Ride go to the moon? It does not appear that she went to the moon.
Damn. I mean, neither have I, but you know.
As far as I can tell. Command F, moon.
Would you go to the moon if you were given the opportunity to?
Yeah, honestly, I would.
Interesting.
Because it's not that long of a trip, right?
There's a quick layover in the atmosphere, you know. I would assume it's not that far of a trip. Like, I would guess that it probably takes like 2 weeks to get there.
2 weeks? I would have guessed like 3 days.
3 hours.
What?
I mean, if you're
crazy.
on a rocket, 3 days seems more accurate.
I don't think I would go though, just because like I get motion sickness, and I just like 3 days of motion sickness.
Y'all got Dramamine in space.
Well, like at least 6 days because you have to go and then come back.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, you should spend some time there, you know, get an Airbnb. Yeah. Did you search how long it takes to get to the moon?
No.
Wait, please find out.
About 3 days. Wow, Lizzie.
You should become a travel agent for the moon.
I watch a lot of YouTube documentaries, and I feel like that was just floating around in there.
Just floating around in there.
However, it took 4 days when we originally went in 1969. We went faster.
All right. Do you feel satisfied with the answer to your question? Should we move on to the next?
Yeah, I think we did a really good job. We were pretty close.
I'm so smart.
Honestly, vibes.
Jacob,
okay.
do you have a question?
I do indeed have a question. My question is also about nature, but it's more specifically about lava. And if we just have open pits of lava throughout the world, like if I could just like walk through nature up a volcano, can I just look down into the volcano and is it full of lava? And then as a follow-up question to that, can I, not I, but like we as humans, throw things into the lava to like get rid of trash and stuff?
Okay, my gut reaction is yes, lava pits exist.
That's what I would assume as well.
I'm like 100% sure that they exist. Because so basically,
have you been to one?
No, but like I've seen it. So yeah, so I follow this person on Instagram that does like drone shots, but it's like the first person one where you like wear the goggles and you like feel like you're doing it, and he's flown it over some lava. So.
But was that because the volcano was erupting, or just because it was just there?
No, it's just like an active volcano.
I feel like that's like
it
what
could erupt
Hawaii
whenever.
is.
So if I'm at Hawaii, am I allowed to just go to the lava pit and be like, look at the lava? Or is it like sectioned off?
I think it's sectioned off.
I would hope that it's sectioned
I don't think
off.
it's just like open, but like I do think you can like hike up it and be like
just look over the like you're over the edge and you're like, there's some lava, man.
Yeah.
So you're saying I could go see lava?
Yes.
It just feels a little unbelievable to me, like just because I haven't experienced it myself. I'll have to give it a try.
I'll send you the videos.
Thank you.
Amazing. In regards to your second question of can we just throw trash in it?
To get rid of trash.
I feel like you could definitely throw trash in it.
I feel like you shouldn't put like plastic in it, obviously, because plastic will like let off
carcinogens.
I was gonna say gases, but sure, carcinogens. And I think that would be bad.
I also think that would be bad. I also feel like you could like overload it. Like if I just threw like a paper bag in it, like whatever. Yeah. Like eventually it may get too full. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't know, like, would it get rid of it? Also, because like think about like Pompeii, like the volcano erupted and like everything just kind of became like cast almost.
But
that was the ash. That wasn't the lava. It was the layer of ash that like solidified over the city.
So I think what I'm asking is like, if you have a pit of lava and you put something into the lava, like say I put this mug into the lava, does the mug just become more lava? Is the mug just consumed by the lava that it's like, you know what, I'll become lava too?
I mean, I feel like it would become ash, no? Like think about like when you like throw something into a fire.
Right.
Like when the fire ends, there's just a bunch of ash.
So you think the ash just stays in the lava and it's like a separate thing?
Well, I mean, I don't know where it goes, but I feel like if you're burning something, it becomes ash. And I feel like lava is just like really hotly burning.
What state of matter is lava?
It's like its own thing. It's magma.
Like magma?
Yeah.
I feel like was when it's in the earth, but lava is like outside of the earth.
Right, but like isn't lava from the inside of the earth? Like it's magma from the inside that's like coming out. It's like, hello world, I'm here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why is the middle of the earth hot like that?
because it's the core.
I also feel like logistically, just getting trash to wherever lava pits are seems like you'd be not actually benefiting the planet. If we need to transport all of our trash all the way to Hawaii and then up a volcano, like that just seems like we're probably using a lot of fuel and creating a lot of, like, it's not worth it.
So like, what if we dug deep enough to find some lava, so that way we don't have to use a volcano, which could potentially become active, and we're just burying it deep in the earth?
I don't know if we can dig that far.
Not possible. And I feel like that doesn't sound like healthy. Like think about like all the trash that's in the ocean and how that like affects like the water ecosystem. Like I feel like the ground has an ecosystem as well, that like all the little ants and shit would be like, what the
Think
heck?
about the worms.
This is my house. Like dug through it.
Listen, trash. People just be out here fracking. Why can't we be creating lava pits?
Well, I don't know if people really agree with fracking.
That
so
is true.
We should use that as like a gauge.
Oh, there's this precedent of something really bad we do. We should do it again.
We should do it,
but in a different way.
We should do it again, but worse.
Also, like, do you think if you really like dug deep enough to get to the lava part, like, would it just like ooze up because it's like, ooh, I can escape now? You just like create a volcano?
In my personal opinion, it would be like you dig deep enough until you find like a vein of lava, and like the vein's like an underground river.
Do you think there are veins of lava?
How would we
I
know?
feel like that could be true.
That feels true. So like, how does it comes up to the earth through a vein?
Yeah, I guess you got a point there.
Yeah, and also like in Mexico, they have like the underground like rivers, you know, like the caves that have like the rivers, the cenotes or whatever you call them.
Okay.
So I feel like the same concept, but lava. Like there's like a whole system.
That's necessarily a parallel, but I get what you're saying.
No, like maybe those caves, those underwater caves were made by lava, and then the lava was like, I gotta go.
Well, no, they were made by water because like erosion.
Listen, this podcast is about not knowing things. Don't shame me. No, but isn't like the Earth's crust floating on lava?
Well, it just like gets like warmer and warmer on the inside. So kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if floating is the right verb. But yeah, it does. It does float.
Yeah, it's floating because that's how like they smash into each other and make earthquakes. Mm-hmm. In my opinion.
Tectonic plates.
Tectonic plates. I don't really understand that. Okay, should we Google it?
Yeah. My hypothesis is yes, they definitely exist. Yes, you can throw things in it, but no, it is not the solution to our garbage problem.
Yeah, I thought I really solved it.
I have a friend who works for the EPA. Should I call her?
Yes, I do believe you guys that there are open pits of lava. I also agree that we probably should not be throwing things into the open pits of lava, wherever they may be.
I agree with both of these hypotheses.
Okay, let's find out.
Okay, this is our source is www.treehugger.com. It was updated June 13th, 2021, and it's 8 places you can safely watch lava flow. Hiking
Hawaii?
Volcanoes Park in Hawaii. It's one of the most active and has had nearly continuous eruptions since 1983.
What constitutes an eruption?
Oh.
Like, does it have to go...
I would assume that like it's got to have something in like the air.
Some level of splash zone.
I wonder what makes it like erupt like that. Probably pressure or something.
Like a gas bubble.
Yeah, there's like a lot of places. Like there's like the Democratic Republic of the Congo has like a really big lava
lake. Are there
lake.
any in the continental United States?
Not in this article, no.
Okay.
Oh, in Japan, there's a volcano that has a lightning bolt hitting it. That sounds scary.
What? Like constantly?
Just saying is out there.
Okay, so I'm searching and it's I said, can we throw? And it says trash into the sun. Which is another good idea.
Okay, but again,
Trash
the
into
concept of
volcanoes is
taking
up
our
there.
trash.
Popsci.com has an article called "Why Don't We Just Throw All Our Garbage into Volcanoes?" And the subheader is because it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Honestly, fair.
Thanks to whoever wrote that.
Okay, they're showing like videos of people throwing trash into the summits. They're saying like it's a long time to get up there. Volcanoes are not cooperative like that. The ideal trash incinerator would be a slow erupting volcano that gradually spews lava onto the surface of the earth, like the volcanoes in Hawaii called shield volcanoes. But the majority of volcanoes are stratovolcanoes, which have lava flows. And if you put too much pressure into it, it will get too much and it will explode.
That's honestly way worse than I thought it would be.
It's the last line of that paragraph says, if you're close enough to throw trash into the exploding mass of molten rock, ash, and gases, you're already dead.
Fair.
Well,
yeah.
I guess I know what we're not doing.
There's also like regulations of like you can't be burning trash so that it doesn't get into our air. So that makes sense. So we didn't solve the climate crisis this episode, but
maybe next time.
Maybe next time. We can search what to do if we throw trash into the sun. I'm just gonna guess that we shouldn't do that.
I'm gonna also guess we don't know how to do that.
I really feel like we shouldn't do anything with the sun, you know?
I wouldn't mess with the sun, no.
Okay, so now we're going on to our final question of the podcast, which is our listener questions. Lizzie, would you like to ask the listener question from my coworker, Julia?
Yes, this is a listener question from Jacob's coworker, Julia. How do babies learn to speak? Like, all of a sudden, their sentences just make sense. It's weird. I'm curious about that because the English language is hard. And all of a sudden, these people that have been on the earth for a couple of months just get it.
The girls who get it, get it. The girls who don't.
Honestly, that's a very valid question. Languages are hard and babies don't even use like Duolingo or anything.
They just start to pick it up, which I would understand. Like Lizzie, I know you have like the scientific background, probably you took a class on it, that like their prefrontal cortex or like whatever in their brain is developing so that they can understand speech.
So I have like many thoughts here. So first of all,
we brought in a subject matter expert, ladies and gentlemen.
So I mean, I've taken a class on psycholinguistics and a lot of psychology courses. So like two thoughts here. So there was a person from, I think, MIT who like wanted to like figure out this question. And he basically was like, well, I can't really like figure this out like ethically. And so he just did it with his own child so that he didn't have to like get data from other people.
Okay.
And, like,
what was unethical about it?
Well, like to like record like other people's children's learning how to speak. Like, how are you going to do that? Like, that's like a lot of data and that's like a lot of privacy concerns, right? So he was just like, well, I'll just do it with my own.
I mean, people use baby cams all the time.
Did he have a baby already? Or like,
yes, this is like done.
He went home and was like, honey, I
need something for work.
I mean, I don't know what the origin of the baby came from. I don't know if it was planned. I don't know. Not my expertise. But
good for that baby.
He had like cam set up from like the day that the baby came home and basically like recorded all of the time, like the environment around the baby, like all of the words that were being said. And then like there's a TED talk on it. He like made like a compilation that was just like his baby trying to learn like a specific word. I don't remember what the word was, but like dad or something like that. And he just like cut like the segment. Can you blame him? Well, self-fulfilling prophecy here. So he just like cut all of the snips of the baby trying to learn the word dad or something like that together in like 20 seconds. It's rather interesting. So it's basically all just like an approximation of what it's heard in its environment is my first
it just
idea.
Keeps guessing.
I mean
like
probably.
I think that like the language learning apps, like Rosetta Stone, for example, like they don't just be like, oh, here's like your vocab word and here's like its translation. It like does it by like association of like things like in real life. So like instead of being like book and then like livre in French, it would show you like a picture of a book, like, and like label it as like a livre or whatever. And so I feel like that is like what babies do. Like they just like, you like point to a ball and you're like, that's the word ball. Like the same thing with the dog.
That's the
Like
word
you're just
ball.
like same thing with the dog. Like every time before you go out, you say out, and then they're like, oh, I want to go out. Like they understand that. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you're saying that they understand the language and like can be like, oh, I understand the word yes, but I don't know how to say the word yes yet.
Right. I assume they're like
and then they
looking
just
at their
make fun.
parents and they're like, oh, they're communicating. I want to try to do that. And they just kind of like make noises. And I'm sure there's like a lot of positive feedback of like, if a baby's going, "Mwah!" Like mom's gonna be like, oh my God, yes, that is great. So
yeah,
I'm like curious. I feel like I get that, but how do you teach a baby like articles or like how to properly use pronouns, like all of those subtle grammatical things?
I feel like you would just like start picking it up. But that does bring up an interesting question of like, if this baby learns French first, or if it learns English first, or like whatever language, like can it pick up English? Like the, average baby, can the average baby pick up English faster than a different language or vice versa?
Oh, like is there a language that's easier for a newborn?
Yeah.
If I have an amorphous newborn, is it easier for it to
I just start
French
talking at it.
or like English? I feel like it's probably a minuscule difference.
Probably.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say it's like more of the environment. Like, I don't know, like how much are the people around that baby talking rather than what language are they using when they're talking around the baby.
I would agree with that.
Another evidence to support this is actually a really funny psychology experiment. So this is a psychology experiment about like mimicking. So basically like children, and I'm assuming babies, I think it was just children in the experiment, like mimic what they see. And so I feel like you could relate that to language. And so in the study, it was Albert Bandura's Bobo doll experiment. So basically a Bobo doll, my understanding is that it's like, imagine like a balloon, and it's like a doll, right? And it looks like, it looks kind of scary. It looks like a clown, but like the bottom is weighted and like the top is air. So like if you like hit the top, it like, bounces down, but then it'll like pop back up.
But they don't fall down.
Exactly.
This
right?
podcast is sponsored by Weebles. Not really.
So they did this experiment where they had this child like sit in a room and like look at like an adult interact with this Bobo doll in the other room. And like whatever they saw the adult do, then like the child was like released into the room and they like mimicked how the adult did it. Right? So like
imagine being the adult that's like, I need to hug this doll right now while this child is watching me.
That's exactly what they did. Like they had one scenario where they like, like treated the doll nicely, like hugged the doll, whatever, like pet the doll, whatever is nice towards this doll.
Hey doll,
right?
what's up?
And then they had another one where they like beat the doll, like literally like got on top of it and were like punching it. And the children, when they were released into the room, would mimic whatever they saw, so they would bully this doll or give it a hug, depending on what they saw.
There's two demons within me: either hug the doll or fight the doll.
How did the adult keep a straight face when it climbed on top of this doll?
Also, like, how big is was it a Bobo doll? Is that what you called it?
Yeah, a Bobo doll. I think it was like human size, like adult sized.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What happened to Bobo dolls? Where are they now?
I don't know.
So I have some questions. Was the adult that was beating this like the psychologist that came up with this experiment? He was like, I'm gonna do it myself. Or did he like recruit college kids? Like, hey, you can get a credit for your class. He's like, this is what I need you to do.
I do not know.
It was probably
I think this was like an old experiment. Like 60s, 50s. I don't know.
We should recreate that. Does
Should
anyone
we?
have a child?
A child. We could use your dogs as children.
That could work.
Okay, should I Google this? How do children?
Yes. Let's
How
get this answer
do
for Julia.
children? How do babies? I should say. How do babies learn language? The linguisticsociety.org. Oh, this site can't be reached. Oh, it reloaded.
Ooh.
How do children acquire language? Do parents teach their children to talk? No. Children acquire language quickly, easily, and without formal teaching. It happens automatically whether their parents teach them or not. Children acquire language through interaction, not only with their parents and other adults, but also with other children. All normal children who grow up in normal households surrounded by conversation will acquire the language that is being used around them. And it's just as easy for a child to acquire 2 or more languages at the same time, as long as they are regularly interacting with speakers of those languages. See, that makes sense, where it's like, if you're bilingual, you pick them up at the same time, as long as you have enough conversation
How do
being
you
spoken to you.
know? Like, is it just the sound of it sounds different?
That's a good question. I would assume like it's like the words around it, because like you could be like, Je m'appelle Jacob, and you're not going to say anything that sounds remotely like that in English. So I think like the phrase in and of itself, as opposed to just like single words, becomes their understanding of what language is.
I mean, like, I guess I can listen to people and be like, that sounds like Russian, or like, that sounds like Spanish, or that sounds like French. So like, you can just get a vibe.
Yeah, it's like the morphemes of the language. Like morphemes, I think, are and you can correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a minute since I took the class, but like morphemes are like the smallest unit of like a sound, I guess. And so like different languages have different sounds. Like for example, like I think in like
Mandarin
has
like much different
sounds. Mandarin has like different like tones. Like there's different different languages, like if you say something in like a higher pitch tone or like a difference, like the difference in the tone like changes what the word's meaning is. And so I feel like all of those little things added up equal what the language could sound like.
I love that you were like, oh, correct me if I'm wrong, as if Jacob and I had any idea.
Well,
what did you say morpheme?
Morpheme. MORPHEME.
There's also something, this is an FAQ, and the question says, how can a child who can't even tie their own shoes master a system as complex as the English language? Because that's a very specific question. They say, many linguists say that a newborn's brain is already programmed to learn language. And in fact, when a baby is born, he or she already instinctively knows a lot about language. This means it's as natural for a human being to talk as it is for a bird to sing or a spider to spin a web. It's something we've gotten through evolution or whatever.
It's kind of beautiful.
We all know how to talk and stuff. I love that.
I think that's a great answer for Julia. I hope you're satisfied.
I hope you're satisfied.
Thank you for sending in a listener question.
Yes. If you want to send in a listener question, please be sure to give us an email at searchbarpodcast@gmail.com. Awesome. Okay, so that was our second episode. I think we did a good job. If you all enjoyed that, be sure to find us on social at Searchbar Podcast. And my handle is IGotShubach, IGOTSCHUPBACH, across all platforms.
Awesome. I totally agree that we nailed it. You can follow me
smart.
at eShubach. That's ESCHUPBACH. Again, our Gmail, if you have any listener questions, is searchbarpodcast@gmail.com. And also feel free to give us a review on whatever platform you are listening to this podcast on. We truly appreciate it. The last thing we do before we wrap up, Lizzie, where can people wish you a happy birthday?
So you can wish me a happy birthday at my Venmo. It's LIZZIE-SCHUPBACH. I would really appreciate it.
Live, laugh, love. We love a guest host who knows what she wants.
Money.
Get it.
Vibes. Okay, how do I stop recording?
We'll see you next week.
Oh, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Outside the Search Bar is a Perfectly Done Toast podcast production.